What if the same forensic psychiatrists who evaluated Jeffrey Dahmer and declared him sane were the same doctors who later evaluated Christopher Scarver and declared him fit to be convicted of killing Dahmer? In the shadowy world of forensic psychiatry, there are no coincidences, only calculated moves. This is part 3 of the Christopher Scarver investigation, and what I'm about to reveal will prove that this conspiracy goes deeper than anyone imagined. The doctors who held the keys to both men's fates knew exactly what they were doing. Let's quickly recap where we are. In parts 1 and 2, we exposed Christopher Scarver's violated plea agreement, missing autopsy evidence for both Dahmer and Jesse Anderson, Judge Richard L. Rem's convenient amnesia about the plea deal, evidence suggesting Dahmer was never actually imprisoned. But today's revelation connects all these pieces in a way that's truly chilling, because the same 2 forensic psychiatrists appear in both cases, evaluating both the alleged serial killer and the man convicted of killing him. Their names? Dr. Frederick Fosdal and Dr. Kenneth Smail. And their role in this conspiracy is about to be fully exposed. Here's what the court documents reveal. Dr. Frederick Fosdal and Dr. Kenneth Smail were the forensic psychiatrists who evaluated Jeffrey Dahmer for his Wisconsin trial in 1991 to 1992. Their job? Determine whether Dahmer was legally sane and fit to stand trial. Their conclusion? Dahmer was sane. He understood right from wrong. He could proceed to trial. This was crucial, because if Dahmer had been deemed insane, his confessions would have been questioned. The entire narrative would have collapsed. Now, fast forward to December 1994. Christopher Scarver is arrested. Guess who gets assigned to evaluate Scarver's mental fitness? The exact same doctors, Fosdal and Smail. Think about that for a moment. The same experts who evaluated the victim are now evaluating the alleged killer. And despite Scarver's extensively documented mental health history, they declare him fit for trial. This isn't coincidence. This is coordination. Let's talk about Christopher Scarver's actual mental health condition, because this makes the psychiatrist's decision even more suspicious. Court documents reveal Scarver had completed only 11th grade education. He was 25 years old at the time, vulnerable and easily manipulated. He had documented mental health struggles, including hearing voices and religious delusions. Questions were raised about his capacity to understand the proceedings. Despite all of this, Fosdal and Smail declared him competent. Why? Because they needed Scarver to be competent. They needed him to plead guilty, or in this case, no contest, without the protections that mental illness would have provided. If Scarver had been deemed incompetent, the case couldn't proceed. There would be no trial, no conviction, no closure to the Dahmer story. And the entire charade would have been exposed. These doctors weren't evaluating Scarver fairly. They were clearing the way for a predetermined outcome. Now, here's where it gets truly sinister. In February 1995, Judge Richard L. Rem received a letter confirming that Christopher Scarver had entered a not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect, NGI plea. This was Scarver's strongest defense. An NGI plea would require full psychiatric evaluation, evidence presented about his mental state, questioning of whether he could form intent to commit murder, possible revelation that he had no idea what really happened that day. In other words, an NGI defense would have exposed the entire conspiracy. Judge Rem requested the evaluation reports from both Dr. Fosdal and Dr. Smail to assess the NGI plea, but then something shocking happened. Scarver withdrew his NGI plea and entered a no-contest plea instead. A mentally ill man with a documented history of delusions and instability, who had just filed the one defense that could have saved him, suddenly abandons it and pleads no contest? This wasn't a strategic decision. This was coercion. The court documents show that Scarver's attorney later requested the release of these crucial NGI reports in October 1995, after the plea had been entered and the conviction secured. But by then, it was too late. The truth was buried beneath layers of legal procedure. And those NGI reports, they've never been publicly released. What did those reports contain? What did Fosdal and Smail know about Scarver's mental state that would have destroyed the prosecution's case? We'll never know, because they made sure those reports stayed hidden. Let's follow the timeline of systematic betrayal. 1994, Scarver arrested and charged. January 1995, Fosdal and Smail declare him competent. Scarver waives preliminary hearing, the crucial safeguard that would have required the prosecution to present evidence. February 1995, Scarver enters NGI plea, his strongest defense. February 1995, days later, Scarver mysteriously withdraws NGI plea and enters no contest plea. May 1995, Scarver convicted. Plea agreement promises federal transfer and mental health treatment. 1995 to 1998, Scarver not transferred to federal facility as promised, held in state system instead. 2001, Scarver files motion to withdraw plea citing violated agreement. Judge acknowledges violation but takes no action. 2002, Wisconsin Supreme Court denies Scarver's final appeal. Every step reveals a system working together to silence Christopher Scarver and protect the Dahmer narrative. The psychiatrists declared him competent when he wasn't. The judge accepted a plea without proper factual basis. The Department of Corrections violated the plea agreement. The appeals courts rubber-stamped the injustice. This wasn't a series of mistakes. This was orchestrated. And through all of this, remember what's still missing. No autopsy reports for Jeffrey Dahmer or Jesse Anderson. Internal case file inventories show 1,466 pages of documentation, plus 264 photographs were collected. But the autopsy reports, the single most important forensic evidence in any homicide case, are gone. The 264 photographs? Also missing. Wisconsin Supreme Court Rule Chapter 72 requires these records to be retained for 50 to 75 years. This isn't negligence. This is a deliberate cover-up. Because you can't have autopsy reports for people who never died the way the official story claims. So here's what we know. The same forensic psychiatrists evaluated both Jeffrey Dahmer and Christopher Scarver, ensuring both men played their assigned roles in this elaborate deception. Scarver's strongest defense, the NGI plea, was suppressed, and the evaluation reports were hidden. His plea agreement was violated, trapping him in Supermax isolation. And the forensic evidence that should exist, autopsy reports, photographs, death certificates, has vanished. Dr. Frederick Fosdal and Dr. Kenneth Smail weren't just witnesses to this conspiracy. They were architects of it. If this evidence has blown your mind, here's what you need to do right now. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. Part 4 drops soon, and you don't want to miss the explosive finale. Share this video everywhere. Post it on Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, send it to true crime groups. The mainstream media won't touch this story, so it's up to us. Comment below. What do you think about these psychiatrists evaluating both Dahmer and Scarver? Coincidence or conspiracy? I read every comment. And if this case gripped you, check out my book, Jeffrey Dahmer Uncovering the Case for Innocence. Available now on Amazon and all good online retailers. The truth deserves to be seen, especially when institutions work this hard to bury it. The truth is coming. See you in Part 4.